Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael and today we're going to be making salsa. If you've never made salsa before, stick with me and I'll show you how it is done. It is so delicious, you're never going to want to buy the salsa from the store again. Let's get started making our salsa. We're going to be making this from scratch tonight, and know there's options that you can buy in the store, but if you know what's in your salsa, it's a lot better than what you control, what you put in it. So there might be some things in some of the products that you get in the store that you just don't like. So let's make it from scratch, and that way you can control everything that goes in it. So I've got some diced tomatoes. I've got 1 can of diced tomatoes, and that is a 14.5-ounce can of those. And I've got 1 can of Rotel. This is 10-ounce can of mild Rotel. I'm not a big proponent of really spicy foods, so I'm kind of on the conservative side of it. But if you want to use the original or the extra spicy of the Rotel, you can definitely use that. This again is the mild flavor on that. And if you want to use real tomatoes, you can cut up some Roma tomatoes if you've got those. I just had these on stock here, and that's a lot easier just to strain the tomato juice out of it, and we'll use those for our salsa. And then I've got some cilantro here. I'll be cutting off the stems of those. I've got some pickled jalapeños, and I'm going to control the heat with those. And these are really nice. I don't really like the taste of raw jalapenos in my salsa, so I like the ones that are pickled. So I've got about 6 of those pulled out. But this, as you go, we're going to taste it just to see how everything tastes. And then I've got some limes. We'll be putting some lime juice in that. I've got a tablespoon of salt, and we'll be checking the salt level on it as we're going, just to make sure that we've got the seasoning in it that we need. And I've got 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. And that's what we've got here. I got a couple of cloves of garlic that we'll be using, and I've got a white onion. I'm going to use half of that, and we're going to be using a food processor. If you don't have a food processor and you got a blender, you can definitely use a blender for that. Just keep a watch on it, because it can get really soupy on you in a blender, so just be careful with that. And I'm going to be mindful of that in my food processor as well. If you don't want to use any of those, you can chop your onion and your garlic and your parsley up really fine and just mix it up by hand. You can definitely do it that way. This will be more like you would see in a restaurant, that type of salsa that you would get. It's not going to be big and chunky. You can definitely make it that way, and I can definitely do another video of that in the future to show you the different variations you can do with that. But tonight, we're going to be making it restaurant style, what I call restaurant style. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to take my tomatoes, and they are diced, and I'm going to drain the juice off of these, because I want to control the water level that I'm going to be putting into my mixture here. So I'm just going to drain the juice out of these, and then we'll have our tomatoes. All right, now that I've got my tomatoes in my strainer, I'm going to set that aside and let that drain a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and start working on our garlic and our onions. With this, it's very forgiving. If you do use the food processor or the blender, you can definitely have bigger chunks in that and let the machine do a lot of the work. So we're going to give these a little chop tonight, and we're not going to go really mince with them, really small. We're just going to give them just a little bit of a chop, and that way we'll let the food processor do the work for us. So let me chop this up. All right, so I've got my garlic roughly chopped here, and I'm just going to push that over to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and work on my onion now. Like I said, I'm just going to take half of this onion, and if I need some more at the end, I can definitely put some more in it. And we're just going to give this a rough chop. All right, now that we've got our onion and our garlic chopped up, let's go ahead and put those into our food processor. All right, now that we've got those in there, let's work on our cilantro. I've just taken this and given this a little bit of a rinse at the sink, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take these stems off, because I don't want those in my salsa tonight. And then I'm just going to kind of give that a rough chop, just so that it kind of gives it a head start in the food processor. All right, now let's add that in. All right, I'm going to put the lid on the food processor and give it a couple of pulses just to kind of get it started. All right, now that we've got that chopped up, I'm going to go ahead and add my jalapenos. And again, I've just got 6 of these. I'll show you what these look like. They're just finely sliced, and they are pickled. So I've just got like 6 or 7 of these small ones here, and we're going to put that into our mixture. You can put as many of those as you like, and if you don't want it really hot, you can definitely leave those out. And just give that a little pulse. All right, now let's start with our limes. I did roll these out. It makes them just a little bit easier for them to juice. Sometimes limes, you can get them and they're really dry compared to lemons. So these look like they're going to have a lot of juice in them. So let's juice these and we'll put that into our mixture. All right, we've got our lime in now, and I do have extra just in case you want to add some more at the end. And I'm just going to give this a little scrape down on the sides just to make sure that we get all of those ingredients incorporated down into our salsa. Now let's add our other ingredients into our mixture. So now we're just going to add the Rotel into it, and then I'm going to put my 1 teaspoon of my ground cumin in it. And I'm going to start out with a teaspoon of salt. I've got a tablespoon here. It depends on a lot of factors with it too, the tomatoes and the cilantro and things. I don't want to put too much in it. I can always add, but you can never take it out once you put it in. And then we're going to take our tomatoes that we've got here that we've drained the juice out of them. And you can see that was a lot of juice in those. We're going to keep that in case we want to add it at the end if it's a little too dry for us. But we're going to start with this first. All right, now that we've got all of our ingredients in there, let's give this a pulse and mix in the tomatoes and the Rotel with the other ingredients. All right, we've got our mixture combined together now, so I brought it up here so we can take a look at it and see what we've got. Let's give this a little test and see if we need to add anything else to it. You can see here that the consistency looks like. I'm glad I did not put that extra tomato juice in there. This will continue to put just a little bit more juice out as it sets up. And the longer this sits in the refrigerator, and it will get all of those flavors all started to come together. But let's see now if we need to add any more salt or anything else to it at this point. That is really good. It's just the right heat of where I really like it. Definitely you can add any variation to any of these things that you've got here for your salsa. It's just a lot of different things you can do to it. If you want to put some more cumin in it, if you want to put some more salt in it, just like I say, just start out lightly, add in what you want to put in it, and then test it for you and your family, how you like your salsa. So I'm going to put this in a bowl, and I'm going to get me some chips, and I'll be right back. All right, I've got my salsa in a bowl now, and we are ready to eat it. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a taste. I'm going to put some in a bowl here, and I'm going to give it a try with some chips. Like I say, this is so easy to make. You're not going to want to buy the stuff in the store anymore. Just with a few ingredients, you can control what you really got in it and make it the way you really like it, not how somebody else likes it. So this is just a variation of how you can do a salsa, like a restaurant style. And we'll give one of these chips here and give it a test again. All right, that was so good and tasty and so easy to make. And just with a few ingredients, you can really control what goes into your salsa. So if you've got a potluck coming up or a party that you need to bring something to, definitely try this. This is really easy to make and tasty, and you can make it the way you like it, not how somebody else likes it that you buy in the store. So definitely give this a try. I hope this has inspired you to make homemade salsa restaurant style. And if you like that, maybe you might want to check out one of these other 2 videos over here. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make you some salsa. It is really good. Bye-bye now. Delicious.